Hello, my name is Alex Stoltz, and welcome to this special edition of Future of Film podcast presented in partnership with Garden Studios. Where do you stand on AI? Do you see it as a democratizing force in film or more of a destructive one, as a creative empowerer or more like an artistic death bot? Well, one thing for sure is that the technology is not going anywhere. In fact, it's rapidly accelerating and only going to become more influential in the filmmaking process. And if that sounds a bit like the start of a dystopian sci-fi movie, it's not meant to, but the question really becomes then how we direct it, how we shape it, how we apply it. And these were some of the questions that were certainly circulating recently when we met at AI Open Days, which was held at Garden Studios in London. Across 2 days of workshops, discussions, demonstrations, and even some filmmaking, executives and artists from across art and entertainment, from choreographers to VFX artists, from animators to actors and distributors and producers, discussed and shared on this topic. And we were lucky enough to have demonstrations of some of the very latest technology using AI, including Move, Charisma, Adapt, and Wonder Dynamics. So in this series of podcasts, I spoke to some of the people behind the tools we mentioned to understand how AI is being used, to understand their tools and how they see them fitting into the future of film. And well, I certainly learned a lot, and I hope you enjoy this special edition of the Future of Film podcast, presented in partnership with Garden Studios.
So I'm Rachael, and I'm a producer with Charisma.ai. So my role involves some script writing and thinking about sort of user experience design in the different interactive experiences that we make.
And I'm Muffy, and I'm the commercial manager. So I do new business, conferences, and marketing.
Amazing. And well, just tell us about Charisma, how it works. You have, I should say Charisma.ai, because you've got AI in the title, right? We're at AI Open Days. So tell us about how it works and how the AI component, adds to the functionality.
Sure. So shall I go? So Charisma is a platform for creating interactive stories. It's a no-code platform. It's really easy to use. You don't need any sort of programming experience. So it's targeted at narrative designers and writers who want to create interactive stories for anything from gaming to TV and film to immersive theatre, and then sort of more and more use cases that we've found sort of across the last year as AI has really expanded.
Yeah, and it's been a really interesting space. As Rachael mentioned, we had our roots in video games and film, and now in the last year with ChatGPT coming in, we're finding, companies want to use it for unconscious bias training or corporate training or e-learning or even language learning apps. I mean, it's amazing. There are so many different companies and industries that are sort of coming in to the fray, and we're working with them, and it's been a really exciting space. But yeah, our roots are very much in video games and TV and film, and I think film has always been at the forefront of technology anyway, and I think it's only natural that the film industry would take on AI to kind of
absolutely.
Well, I mean, we were chatting a bit before about the fact that the company's been running since 2017. Do you say so?
Yeah, I think 2017.
So it's certainly been a while in the AI space, and obviously it's really exploded this past year. So how are you sort of finding that's impacting the offering? Because there's been a lot of, I guess, hype around AI.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think our main aim is to cut through that hype. And I think, AI can seem really intimidating and scary because it's new and we don't know what it is, etc., etc. So people often have a lot of questions. But really, actually, it's really exciting. And yeah, sorry, what was actually the question? I forgot the original question.
Yeah.
How have we?
Yeah, well, I guess how's you were saying this past year, for example, it's opened up
Oh yes, that was
to
it.
new markets and new use cases.
Yeah, exactly. So we are very keen to cut through the noise, and we're a very ethical company. You know, we've written papers on the fact that AI can be ethical, and I think that's really, really key when it comes to working in this industry. I think we want to make sure that, you know, we use ethical data sets and we're not storing data, etc., etc. There are so many other things that come along with it. And we're just keen to create interactive stories that are immersive and fun, and people enjoy, you know, spending time in that experience, whether it is immersive theatre or a video game or a TV show.
Yeah. I think the other thing that's been really interesting about the kind of AI tidal wave, if you like, is that it's been a generative AI tidal wave. So sort of since November, and the Charisma platform started off as a platform powered by natural language processing. So matching what a player says to the best available route that a writer has scripted in the graph. And so I think as this kind of wave of generative AI has swept through different industries, we've been really keen to keep the writer's script at the center of what we do. And so we've kind of incorporated various different generative AI tools into our platform to allow people to get their characters to kind of improvise responses based on what players say. But we have been very selective about how we've done that. So I think that this kind of generative AI revolution has kind of enabled us to expand the platform's offering, but we've been keen to do that in a very sort of thoughtful, selective way, and a way that allows writers to pick and choose how much they want to hand over and how much actually they want to stay very in control of their scripted material.
Interesting. That sounds like a real sort of point of differentiation. So I'm a writer, I'm a filmmaker, I'm interested in exploring this space. How does it work? What do I do next?
What do you do next? So you go to www.charisma.ai and you sign up for a free account, and then you can literally just start creating stories on the Charisma platform. You create your story, give it a title, you create your characters, and then from there you can just start writing your character dialogue and mapping out the different routes that your player can take. And we have various different SDKs that then you can use to integrate into a website or a project for Unity or Unreal Engine, or VR. We've had sort of immersive theatre experiences as well. So it's a platform and a sort of toolkit that can then be plugged into sort of any front end that you want to use for your audience.
Really interesting. What's been some of the most exciting or interesting use cases recently?
That's a really good question.
Yeah.
I think, well, two definitely spring to mind for me. The first one was an immersive theatre experience we did with Swamp Motel, which was called St. Jude. And that was really, really exciting. And the other one would be our work with DreamWorks. We worked on the new Puss in Boots game, which accompanied the film, which came out earlier this year. And that was an amazing project to work on. Yeah. It was really, really exciting.
Wow. So we're here at Garden Studios for AI Open Days. How have you found the day? What's been your experience?
Yeah, it's been, I think, so fascinating to see the applications of AI for what I guess we would call the front end. So what we do at Charisma is primarily the kind of back-end platform, the script that's then powering a particular experience. And so much of what we've seen today are these kind of fantastic visual effects that can be applied to the sort of end product, or new ways of creating lip sync for video that we've not seen before, that would have been super useful for projects that we've done like a few years back, where we've had to find creative ways of obscuring a character's mouth so that we don't need them to be able to lip sync with live action video. So I think just the kind of the opportunities to integrate with so many different kinds of technology have really jumped out to me today, certainly.
Definitely. And I think it's so exciting to see what Met Film School's doing as well, because Met Film School is such a huge institution in the UK. I mean, it's amazing. And I think for me, I'm just so excited to see students arriving today, taking part. They're probably going to be doing their final project soon. And I just can't wait to see, will they integrate AI into their final projects? Who knows? But it'll be really exciting to see what they come out with and kind of, the next generation of filmmakers and what they do. It's going to be great.
Well, it's great. I mean, I think it's a nice way to frame it, isn't it? About how it can aid filmmakers, how it can empower them to tell their stories. Do you see how do you sort of see AI evolving in terms of filmmaking, or if you like, how do you see Charisma evolving in the future?
Yeah, that's a really interesting question. I think for Charisma, we definitely want to, because our demographic is narrative designers and script writers, most of them, as Rachel said earlier, they might not have knowledge of coding. So I think in terms of Charisma, we see it just developing as a no-code platform if that is something that you require. So providing more of the front end. We're coming out with a new plug and play feature in about 2 weeks' time, which is really exciting. And that is essentially a sandbox. So after you create your script, you then have a world, you have 2 characters, and you can start fleshing out whatever it is that you want to build, which is really exciting. And in answer to your question about film, I think for me, I'm really excited to see the environments that people create. We had some really interesting talks earlier about, using AI to film these scenes and use artists to paint them. It was just absolutely extraordinary. So I think, just the possibilities are endless, and I can't wait to see what they make.
Yeah.
Amazing. Rachel, do you have anything you wanted to add?
Yeah, I mean, I guess the other thing and something that we're interested in is seeing where sort of interactive television experiences go. We saw a little bit of that almost pre-pandemic with, or during the pandemic with things like Netflix Bandersnatch is the obvious one. But some of the technologies we've come across today to do with sort of emotion recognition in faces, and just thinking about how that could sort of integrate with an interactive narrative where maybe what happens in the episode changes depending on the viewer's facial expression, or suddenly the character turns around and asks you to participate in some sort of conversation or interrogation or persuasion activity, whatever it is. Just seeing if we start to see more of that creativity again, in terms of narratives having multiple strands on screens and audiences becoming more sort of active participants in the story.
Yeah. Do you see that as being more of a solitary viewing experience ultimately, or is it like, I guess, in how you play a game, or do you see there's applications for group viewings using that sort of principles?
Yeah, interesting. Like multiplayer television.
I mean, I guess we're in the sort of, we got Barbie and Oppenheimer at the moment in theaters. That big sort of communal experience. I don't know. I just wonder whether there's ways to.
I think definitely. Yeah. I think in the same way that, if you do go and see Barbie or Oppenheimer, you go for a drink with your friends and you think, oh, what did you think? I think it can be the same thing with interactive television, for example. Yeah. You'll say, oh, did you get that answer? No, I actually, me and the character went down this very weird rabbit hole. I think it could be quite very much an interactive and kind of, experience.
Yeah, participatory.
Yeah. Definitely. And I mean, one of the things we're really keen to pursue at Charisma is sort of multi-character conversations. So powering games or film or TV where there are several characters and you can have a conversation with all of them rather than it just being a one-to-one. Yeah. So it feels like the sort of multi-audience member is really just the next step on from that it's sort of a group talking to a group, which would be really exciting to see. Yeah.
It sounds exciting and complex. We need AI, I think, with that one. Rachael and Muffy, thank you so much for joining Future of Film.
Thank you so much
for having us. Yeah.